Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm showing off my LEGO Star Wars Mandalorian minifigure collection. These are all of my Mandalorians that I have. I have all of the, at least one of all the main characters I think that LEGO has released, such as Boba Fett, Jango Fett, Vizsla, and Sabine. So I don't have all of them, of course. I have the ones that I have collected so far. Me and my dad are still trying to collect all of these, and this is how far we've come so far. This display case that is here. Also, I bought it at a Toys R Us. You can probably get it at any LEGO store or Toys R Us. So let's get right into the collection. The first minifigure I'm showing is Vizsla. This is the leader of Death Watch in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. And this minifigure definitely comes with some very awesome exclusive parts. For example, the leg printing is very awesome. It's kind of like a normal Death Watch trooper, but it's much more detailed and cool. I think the torso printing is the same as a normal Death Watch trooper. I'm not totally sure on that though. It comes with this awesome like pauldron or cape on his left arm, and that's got the Death Watch logo on there. He just comes with this this dark metallic gray, I think, jetpack, and he hasn't got any back printing, as you can see here. He comes with these sand blue arm pieces, and I'm not sure if this head is a small variation on the Death Watch troopers, or if it's just a normal Death Watch trooper. So that was I'm going to show off the helmet too. That's really awesome. So that was the first minifigure. Now moving on to the next minifigure. The second minifigure in my collection is this very special Boba Fett minifigure. It's from the USS Slave 1, and it's definitely the most detailed LEGO Boba Fett minifigure that we've ever gotten. It has this very interesting detailing on the right arm, and on the left arm it's got this like cape or pauldron which you can pull up like this, and then underneath that you have this like Mandalorian or Boba Fett's symbol, and some detailing for like the accessories on his arms. From the back you can just see this sand green jetpack, and if I take off the helmet you can see that he's got this exclusive printing. It's kind of the angry clone head, but it's it's a modified version. So even though this comes in the USS Slave 1, which is based off of episode 5, it looks like it may be around episode 4, somewhere like that. As you can see here on the back, he's got this very awesome detailing. It all gets covered up by this jetpack, but I think it's a very awesome addition. Because if you're going to make a mark, for example, which he hasn't got the jetpack on, it's very nice detailing. So that was the second minifigure. Definitely one of my favorites in this collection. Next up we had this special Death Watch commando, which is one of Darth Maul's special troops in the Clone Wars, and this minifigure unfortunately has no leg printing. But just as the Boba Fett that I showed before, he has awesome back printing. If I take off the jetpack, he's got this awesome back printing which shows like a belt and this armor underneath. This minifigure has got this awesome dark red printing, and the face is just a normal Mandalorian face. So I think these have there are two of these in the set, and I think both of them have different Mandalorian head printing. on the head. But one last thing is, I don't know if you can see this clearly, but on the helmet you see this hand printing, or this it's supposed to represent a hand being who's touched that helmet, and that's Darth Maul's hand, I think. So this is a very awesome minifigure, just as all the minifigures in this collection. And moving on to the next one. The fourth minifigure in this collection is this Sabine from the Ezra Speeder bike set. I would really like to have the helmet, but unfortunately I haven't got that set, so I can't buy it. This, of course, is the first Sabine minifigure that we've ever gotten, and it's got some awesome head printing. And as you can see there on the chest plate, you can see the Rebels logo, and on the legs you can see this awesome detailing. Unfortunately, the skin color is a bit off. I think they could have made it a bit like more darker, and the head or the headpiece, the hair, the orange on it doesn't look at all like in this show, but I think it's a pretty okay first interpretation of the minifigure. And now moving on to the second version of her. This is the second Sabine minifigure that we have, and it's a lot like the last one, but all of it is improved except for the head. So she's got these new awesome like earth orange kind of colored hands, and now, except for skin colored arms, she has these black arms instead. And you can see that the printing on the torso has just been updated, and there's like a blaster thing on the right that goes down to her waist, I guess. And then on the back you can see that it's just this detailing, and if you can't, the hair also is much better. And this minifigure is of course meant to represent the minifigure or the Sabine from season 2, and it comes out in the A-Wing versus TIE Advanced set. I'm going to compare. This is the last. This is the old one, and this is the newer one. So as you can see, there are a lot of small differences, and also a lot of things that look the same. But you can see here that the arms are different, and the hair is much better on the second one. And from the back, now she's got a belt and things like that. So what I would like to see is a season 3 minifigure or version of Sabine, because she has an entirely new hair color, and also I think she has a jetpack and things like that. So I would like to see Lego make that. But moving on to the next minifigure. Here we have the Santa Jango Fett minifigure, and I think this is a pretty interesting minifigure. It of course came out in the advent calendar for 2013 or 2014, I don't remember, but it came out in an advent calendar. Some people don't like these Christmas minifigures or Santa minifigures. I personally think they are pretty interesting, and I have all of them, and I think they're pretty cool. So it's just a normal Mandalorian printing, but it's now in red, and you can see some presents and some more interesting Christmas-like detail there. If I turn him over here, you can see that the jetpack is now this lighter color to match his helmet. And speaking of his helmet, here it is. This is of course not Boba Fett any longer. This is Jango Fett, and yeah, I think the head, or the helmet is very awesome. Very good detailing. And then if I take it off, here's the head. I would like to see them use another head for this. I don't think this really fits, but it's okay, I guess, because you mostly you just have the helmet on. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think this minifigure has awesome back printing as well. As you can see here, a bit different this time, and overall, it's a very interesting minifigure to say the least. And I would definitely recommend picking this minifigure up if you can get him for a low price. This was the first, or this was one of the 3 Jango figures, and I have all of them, so now moving on to the next one. Here is, in my opinion, one of the best minifigures in this entire collection. This is the Jango Fett from 2013, and this came out in one set. I don't remember the name of it, and as you can see, the jetpack and the helmet printing is the exact same as the Santa Jango Fett, but if I remove the helmet, you can also see that he's got this same head printing as the Santa one, because this one came out before that one. If I take off the head and the jetpack, you can see that this is actually probably one of my favorite back printings on all of these. So it's a very detailed minifigure, and you can see it's kind of reflective on the front. Overall I really like this minifigure. I think it's a very awesome minifigure, and great to any collection. So that was 2 of the Jango Fetts. Now over to the oldest Jango Fett. Here is the oldest Jango Fett from 2002 or 2003. You can't really see it in the camera, but the color of the arms and the legs are kind of almost a purplish color, and it's a very interesting color and minifigure overall. If I have a blue piece here nearby, no, I haven't got any blue pieces, but if I had a blue piece nearby I could show you. But the printing on the torso, I think, is very good for when it came out. It's a bit reflective, not too much, and the best thing about this minifigure is the head, I think. If I take off this awesome helmet and jetpack combo, I can look at the head. So this has got the head of when Jango Fett takes off the helmet and flies the Slave One, and I think it's very awesome. He's got this like flying equipment around his head, around his face, and this microphone, and I think it's a very awesome minifigure. I remember playing the older Lego games, and I've always wanted this minifigure. Then I got to buy the entire Slave One set, and yeah, I think it's a very awesome minifigure. No back printing because it's an older minifigure, and you can actually turn the head back like this. And then if you put on the helmet, it looks just like he's got the helmet on. So this was absolutely one of my favorite minifigures in this collection. Now moving on to the baby Bobas, I think. Here we have the oldest baby Boba, which I like to call him, and this is of course when Boba Fett is young in the Attack of the Clones movie. He's got some very simple detailing for the torso and for nothing on the legs, but I think this leg, the smaller legs haven't ever got molded in this color before, which is very interesting. And he's got these dark blue arms and this very interesting head. This Boba Fett only has this long kind of hair thing, this head piece, this right here, and I don't think it fits too well with the minifigure, but this came out in the Slave One together with Jango Fett. It's kind of just like a side minifigure. And now over to the newest baby Boba. Here we have the newest baby Boba. He came out in the advent calendar for 2013, I think. I have a couple of these minifigures, and I think it's a very awesome minifigure to have. It's the torso detailing is very interesting and good for any mocks that you're building on Camino. if you want to have you know, the clones training and things like that, you can use this. And from the back, as you can see, he has a bit of detailing, and he's got two head expressions. And here's the first one. It just looks like yeah, just a normal head. And then on the back, he looks very happy and a bit evil, actually. So this minifigure is very useful if you want to make a Camino mock, or just want to have a Boba Fett for display, a baby Boba for display. So moving on to the couple of last minifigures. Here we have the Boba Fett from the desert skiff with Sarlacc pit from 2012, I think this is from. And as you can see, it's got a lot of interesting detailing, and I actually want to show the minifigure I showed in the beginning of this video, the Boba Fett from the UCS Slave 1, because as you can see here, I find this really interesting that of course these two are based on two different movies. This one from the Slave 1 is based off of episode 5, and the one on the right is based off of episode 6. So I think it's very interesting that they change up like these capes on the side for which movie they're in, and sometimes even the head in this case, and they even change up the small hair hanging down there. And I think that's really interesting, so I just wanted to show that. So this minifigure is from episode 6, that's why he's got this like a bit more greenish cape, like sand green almost, or olive green actually. The torso is molded in light bluish grey, and the legs and the arms are in sand blue. He's got no back printing, and this is pretty interesting. This piece right here, this hip piece, is normally molded in either sand blue or dark red, but this time it's actually molded in dark green, as you can see if I do it like that, in dark green. And the head, as I showed you before, is just this normal head that I showed on Jango Fett. So now there are only a couple of minifigures left, and I'm going through these pretty quickly, so over to the next Boba Fett. Here we have the Boba Fett from the carbon freezing chamber, and I'm not going to show this minifigure off too much because it's basically the same minifigure from the Slave 1, except no printing on the arms and just a normal boring angry clone head compared to this head. Although I'm pretty happy they didn't do the printing on the arms and the exclusivities from the Slave 1 onto this, because that makes the other one more valuable. The printing is just the same as the one from the UCS Slave 1, and as I showed you, the head is just normal angry clone. This cape right here is also the same from the Slave 1, and he's got the normal back printing as most of the newer minifigures have. So if you want the one from the UCS Slave 1 for like a mock or something, I would recommend buying this one instead, because this is much more cheaper, and also it's almost the same minifigure, except that this hasn't got any arm printing and not the exclusive head. So I would definitely recommend buying this one if you're going to buy one for episode 5. For episode 6, I would definitely recommend the one from the newer Sarlacc pit set. So now moving on to the last Boba Fett I have in my collection. This is the last normal Boba Fett in my collection, and this is just the one from the magnet set with this Boba Fett, the Slave Leia, and the Royal Guard. So this is actually a exclusive minifigure, believe it or not. It's kind of like this minifigure, except that it's got a bit more of like a wine or red, dark red here color for the on the helmet. It's got no printing on the back, no printing on the head, and only this printing on the front. So it's a pretty like basic and simple minifigure, and he's probably pretty cheap. So now moving on to the normal Death Watch Trooper and then the prototype Boba Fett's. This is the normal Death Watch Trooper. I'm going to compare the Vizsla and this one first, and surprisingly enough, the or not very surprising actually, the Vizsla has exclusive printing on the torso compared to the normal Death Watch Trooper. It's just simple changes like turning this up here blue and adding some blue and some yellow to the torso, you can see right here, but it's a bit different. And this is just a normal soldier in the Death Watch. I think the printing on the torso is really was pretty accurate for the what it's representing in the Clone Wars show. No back printing. He has this pretty interesting dark bluish gray backpack compared to the like dark metal gray or whatever you want to call it backpack that Vizsla has. And yeah, it's just these blue hands and blue legs and the normal Mandalorian face. So that was all for the Death Watch, and now moving on to the prototype Boba Fett's. Here we actually have one of the more expensive minifigures in this collection. I think it came out in a 40th anniversary of the, or I mean a 10-year anniversary of Lego Star Wars back in 2009, and it's just a prototype Boba Fett. It's before Lucasfilm finished the what Boba Fett turned out to be. This is just it just was white. It was an Imperial Super Commando, and this is kind of what it looked like. So it's just this normal Boba Fett right here, but it's all white, and yeah, that's basically it. He's got no back printing, no head printing. He's got this pretty interesting, just completely white Boba Fett headgear thing. This minifigure, if you would like to get this opened, it would be around $40, and I don't know why it's so expensive, really. I guess it's some kind of exclusive, and I forgot to mention that the oldest Jango Fett goes for around $100, I think, which is completely insane. But this was the oldest prototype Boba Fett. The Lego has actually made two of these, and two different versions of these of this Boba Fett, and I'm going to show the second one right now. This is the last minifigure in my collection, and it's the second version of the prototype Boba Fett. This one is very much easier to get. It comes out in a book, a Lego Star Wars book, with all the minifigures up to I think 2015 or 2016. This minifigure is very awesome. I think it's got a lot of detailing, on the torso, and also on the helmet. This is basically an improved version of what you saw before, with the new helmet and the white backpack, which is very awesome as well. This minifigure has this normal clone head, which actually makes pretty much sense, because this was meant to be an Imperial Super Commando. So and all the stormtroopers apparently are clones according to Lego, so that makes sense. And then if I take off the helmet and the the jetpack, you can see that this minifigure has also some awesome back printing. I have one of these opened. I might open the other one as well. Actually, this would be really cool to have in a mock, you know, and as two Imperial Super Commandos, as you can see in Star Wars Rebels. But this was all the minifigures. I hope you enjoyed the video. This took me a while to make, so I would really appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and comment on this video. So, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.